Now we're on. So, do you want to start?
Welcome. Yeah, I'll just say welcome to turn off or turn on. Whatever that may look like for you. I'm pretty turned on right now.
Definitely not turned on all day long. You guys have been so active energetically. It's amazing. And yes, it's really cool to see what's possible when you let go of some stuff. And that's what we're going to do today. Change some stuff, maybe do some questions, maybe some awesome clearings, and see what's possible with turn off or turn off. And there's so many areas. And of course, there's a very apparent area. It's about sex and sexual energies and bodies and being turned on and all those. And the fun part is that you kind of can experience this in every area of your life. And what would happen if we were willing to allow that to be also possible and allow that to be in our lives and even not this call.
So do we want to start with questions? Does anybody have a question that's just like, I gotta ask this question? I feel like Ivy's got a question. I can see it in her face.
So you're just gonna pinpoint, hey,
boom,
give me something
question.
now.
Oh, you don't have to give me anything.
Moment, but I'm sure something will come up. I'm just
okay, cool.
receiving and enjoying your turning on energy.
So I'll do one thing. So one thing we can just do now, all of us, is just lower our barriers. You know, like sometimes when you get turned on, you almost like sometimes also the barriers come up because we don't know what to do with all these energies. So what if we just like slowly just let the barriers go down and down and down, and then we're just going to pull energy from each other and playfully pull energy so our bodies get like even more bubbly, sparkly, fun energies. Yay! That's fun. Thank you. And whatever happens, just allow your barriers to go down all the time, even more. When it gets maybe freaking hot or uncomfortable, let's pull them down and make sure just to flow and be fun and happy, whatever that is. And I also wonder what points of views and judgments we do have about the energies being turned on. I myself, Miss Lisen Bengtsson, Miss Control Freak of magnitude, when I started doing Access, or when I started doing anything, but let's say I started doing Access 7 years ago, I can say I was a super freaking control freak, well raised in German energies where you control everything. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I had some kind of a Germanish nickname from Dane. I can't remember that one. But I definitely know how well I controlled everything. And he had some interesting challenges when he worked on me. And it was very interesting, like the step-by-step letting go of control, allowing my body to be more alive, allowing it to be alive in general, and how much of my control was also stopping every energy, every cell, every molecule to be bubbly alive and have fun and go like that for life. And it took a while to let go because I don't know why I made control so valuable and did not. Basically, let's be turned on so I'm proper, right, correct, and I look great towards everybody else. Like, I don't know, learn how you're supposed to be kind of thing. And letting that go, you become a bit weird, different. Well, I keep on laughing loud anyway, but I keep on laughing loud in weirdest ways possible. And, some people get happy, some don't, and I still can be happy. So I always wonder, like, how much more is possible and how much more fun can I have? And am I willing to allow my body to be turned on, play with things? And then the next question was for me also, am I willing to turn on other bodies just by being me, by being the energy I'm being alive? And am I willing to play with it? Am I willing to actively turn a body on? I'm willing to control the body energetically and getting it totally turned on. And everything that came up, or everything doesn't allow that, can we just turn and create that? Good and bad, right, wrong.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, all night, shorts, boys, and beyond. So I'll help you with that one.
Ooh. Only with that.
How do you raise hands?
There's a button.
Like that?
All right.
Did you do it?
That was a good one.
Can I Oh, now I get you a full screen, Connor. How does it get any better?
Yes. How does it?
So, Lisa, Lisa, can I ask you? It's
Yes.
so funny with that. It's maybe not a how, but like,
Do how? I don't care. We're not.
well, yeah, like with that being turned on and having your body turn on, and then I get when other bodies are not turned on, that I turn off like automatically because I kind of download that energy, and I'm so tired of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else is possible?
Well, one thing is also just to be aware that you're aware that other people's are turned on, and that often out of kindness, sometimes we adjust to their energy instead of being our energy. So like, okay, what would happen if I allowed my reality to be my reality and I'm turned on no matter what's in front of me? And yes, sometimes you can tone it down energetically so they don't freak out and run away or don't know what to do with you. That's one thing, but I don't have to turn myself off. So sometimes Connor has this energy of being very intense towards women. Like he's just present and women are like, I don't know what to do with him. He's very like, I can't control him. I don't know what's like, because he doesn't have a point of view. So it's very uncomfortable sometimes for women to be in his present. He's like, should I turn it down or off? I'm like, no, just be aware of it. Like, don't turn it off. It's too much fun. Because for example, women really want to control men. And when there's nothing to control, they freak out. Like when there's no judgment they can hold on to, or they can't grab how he is or know how he is or will determine how we will be or react or say, it's kind of uncomfortable. And at the same time, it's exactly what most women desire. Somebody that can challenge them. So it's really funny, just by the way.
So, Yosodara, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, totally. Hi.
Okay. So, also, how much of a turn on are you to other people? Uh-oh, did
Well-
we just freeze the computer? We just froze the computers.
No, only on you. I'm still on.
Did I just turn you off?
You didn't turn me off. But that was an interesting thing. Like, just as what happened with the computers, I'll actually just say, you can very much be so much of a turn on for other people's body that they don't know how to handle it and they'll just turn themselves down.
Yeah. So what do I do with that?
Which,
What?
use it.
Use it.
Would you like to use it?
Yeah, if I can get what I want, because now it's not always like that. It's like, and yeah, okay, cool. I'm not creating with it now. Yeah, I would like to use it. Yeah.
Cool. So, right, like you can be aware of just how much other people turn their bodies down, and then you can be like, oh, that was fun. How do I get to take control of this person now?
Oh shit, so I turned them off.
Because they don't know what it's like, they can't meet your level of turn on.
So they
They
have
won't turn off. Yeah. You'll notice, you may even notice that with yourself. I noticed that with me. Like anyone on this call might even notice with Dane, when you walk up into his presence, he can turn himself so on that you're like, oh God, right? So and he'll be like, aha, I just turned myself on. So in those moments, notice yourself that you can turn yourself on to such a point that other people are like, what to do around this person, because you're so sexually turned on and it's turning your body on. So this is what I love about this call is, are you going to be at the effect of other people that are turning you on, and how much fun can you have with that? Or are you going to be the one that everybody else is at the effect of, and how much fun can you have with that? If that made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One energy also comes up is the controlling of the outcome of the result.
Yeah.
What if you didn't have to control that at all? And what if you didn't have a result in mind, just a possibility or more than one?
Yeah.
And everyone on the call thinks that as you turned yourself on and then they actually met you there and then you went higher and like you turned yourself on more and then they turned themselves on more. And as you got higher, everywhere you think that you're going to actually have to fuck that person because you guys just did that. Destroy and uncreated it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, color, short, spoons, guns. I don't know. That's what I got.
Well,
do you have the
Maybe that made sense. Maybe it didn't.
do you have the experience of not feeling it when you're turned on? And it's like sometimes I'm really aware of it, and it's so fun to have that energy. And sometimes I'm not aware of that.
so how often have we decided what it feels like to be turned on?
Yeah.
So what if there's no definition? There's only different experiences, and you can ask for more. And of course, some might be similar. But what if we didn't define? And because every time you define it, you're only searching for what you have decided is right or what you would like.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. That was fun.
Awesome question. I have another hand here. Wait a second. I have to unmute Safia here.
If anybody else?
Safia.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so Axe has been amazing for me and my body. And then I went to the abuse hold in Dublin, and it was just like, wow. And then obviously I switched myself on, but then I'm very aware that I pick up, and I've done some of the tools, and I don't know if you can give me a process from other people that are abused, and it comes out in my body, like in red marks and things. So I'm like, and I switch myself off, which I don't want to do because I've been having fun and playing and things. But I'm like, what process could I use? I've been doing body processes. What could you give me to help me to stay turned on and have fun and play without picking up other people's? I'd use the who does it belong to. I'm just lost for a few at the moment.
Do you have something, Lisa?
Well,
I've got something.
You go ahead. Yeah.
So one of my favorite ones that I've been using a lot more recently is obviously the first part that is very difficult, and maybe some people don't already have, is noticing when you're turning yourself down. The very fact of actually noticing, well, like just also acknowledge that that's some step to notice you're turning yourself down and you're necessarily it is your reality. So what you're going to also do is go fucking pod everywhere I've bought this as my reality.
Okay.
Whenever I bought this as my reality. So it's going to go back to all those times where it's a situation when maybe someone says something or someone is something that triggers you to go into whatever that is. Then you just say, Pock and Pod, whenever and wherever I bought this as my reality. And as you do that, you'll notice a lot of things beginning to change really, really fast. And obviously just the most important aspect there is to notice when you are turning yourself down. And then, because you're like, oh, I don't like being here. And then you're like, well, fuck that. Pock and Pod, everywhere I bought this is my reality. And then show up right away. Sometimes it only takes like 5 minutes, just like Pock and Pod, and then you just like let go of significance of what you feel like you have going on. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, woo! And then you're like, hey, it worked. That was Does that?
Yeah, I can feel the charge on that. But yeah, whilst you've been on, and it's just like I feel like crying. I feel this sadness.
So what if you allowed your body to express itself?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either. Like what Connor really addresses, like here is the energy. You are aware. Are you willing to acknowledge that you're aware?
Yes.
And after classes, you have a different universe.
Everything that doesn't allow that, you guys don't even destroy on create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pub walk, all nine short, supposed to be on. So a lot of that on the call.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what? I'm aware? Are you sure? I've had this like end goal of becoming aware. Are you sure that I'm aware? I don't know if I am yet.
No, because it's kind of vital to be willing to look at that. And even you don't have to be like, oh, I'm the most aware person in the world. Like, it's not about that. It's really, if you walk around and you're turned on, you'll perceive the energy around you. You'll perceive what they react to. You'll perceive if they get turned on or not get turned on, if they're stuck, if they're closed down, if they are not at home. And then if you don't allow yourself just to know that you're aware, you're going to try to, I don't know, do weird stuff with it. I think it's yours, like make yourself wrong. Or now I feel like if you perceive somebody isn't turned off, And then you could easily just go to a conclusion. You're turned off. And you might not be. But you're perceiving it directly in your body. So it's really intense, turned off. And at the same moment, your body can be totally turned on, but you're not willing to be aware that you're just aware of the energy that is there in front of you or around you or somewhere. Go through an airport after you've been to a class. You're gonna have you're like woohoo, and you can either go on a roller coaster of drama, upset, and have a lot of problems and not fun at all, or you go on a roller coaster. It's freaking intense, and have fun with that. I mean, last time it was like even the guys in the security guys wanted to pat me up, like you have to touch your body. I'm like, are they really saying that? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And they're like, no. I'm like. And the guy that was wanting to do it, he was not on that job. So he just kept on smiling towards me. I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't get to touch me now. I was like, what kind of weird reality is this? This is security where they're like proper and, they're not really very, it was in Denmark, they're not really very, in the VIP, yes, but otherwise they're very serious. So I was like, what the fuck? I'm really creating a different reality for me. So are you guys willing to have this energy of creating your reality, being turned off, being aware of every freaking energy? And if your body is intense or has a different energy or wants to cry, why not allow it for a moment? There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. And if you notice, the definition of crying prior to the early 1900s doesn't have sadness associated to it. It is just tears. So like, as you talked about, you're like, oh my God, I want to cry. And there's all this sadness. Well, is it really sadness or does your body just want to cry? Like I've had so many times where I'm sitting in a restaurant and I have like super gratitude awareness of things. And I'm like, oh, stop looking at me. Oh, man. This is not bad. Okay. And actually people like, it actually even draws people in. You can really tell when it isn't a sadness because people don't really want to be around a sadness. Well, unless they're like trying to help you, but like, as you can feel, as if it feels lighter in your body, you're not necessarily crying about trauma and drama. You're just really releasing a lot of energy and your body just, as you let it go, it flows out pretty intensely like that. And if you get tired of the crying, like I'm like, I've been doing a lot of crying. Okay. Can we change this to something else? Laughing does release a little faster. And so as you're in the middle of crying, as with anything with access, you don't have to be like, oh, I want to stop crying. You can be like, what's the joke here, body? What kind of a joke is here, body, that I'm not getting? And then maybe you'll just start laughing and you'll be like, I don't even know what's going on right now, but I'm just laughing.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for asking it, really. I think a lot of
thank
us
you.
are.
Great question.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there's a question where turns on means, like the kind of the energy of definition on it. I don't know if you want to address that a little bit, Connor.
Just can you say that again? Sorry. I don't know how I missed that.
No worries. The question of being turned on, what that means, is that being aware of what it really mean.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Because did someone have that question?
Yes, in the chat. So I got a couple of chats.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, I see that now. It's hidden behind my other video stuff. You feel turn on without and around. What turn on mean? Aware, release, or change of energy? Okay, cool. Yeah, Bettina, I like that question. Like, what if it was a presence and awareness? Present totally with your body and just total joy. Because it doesn't necessarily just mean you're having sex or anything like that, as people say, like, ooh, it's turning me on. It can be that. It's also like what does turn you on, whether it's horseback riding or, mountain biking for me, or playing sports, or reading a book, or, being on an access consciousness call, or listening to a recording, or drinking a lovely glass of wine, or whatever it may be. What turns your body on might not necessarily be, and it doesn't really have to mean anything. It really means you're living, you're alive. It's like when you're turned on, your body's alive. When you're turned on, you're kind of contracting. Turned off, rather. You're like contracting, or aware of somebody else contracting, or everyone around you contracting because you might just be too much. That would be no one on this call, I bet.
Never, ever.
No.
Oh, but it is interesting.
Do you have anything to add?
No, just mostly what I addressed in the beginning, like where every molecule is freaking alive and there's no limitations on it. And it's going, for me, it's like really going towards the awareness of having no points of views and judgments. Every time I let go of a judgmental point of view, I see how different my body is with energies and bees with it. So I'm like, okay, what is possible? And what if I didn't even need to know what it is and just go and explore everything? But energies is energies, and we decide usually what is on and off, bad or good, where it creates reactions or not. So it's very interesting what we allow it to be or not to be.
Yeah. Does that help, Bettina? Is she on? Does she type more?
I don't know if she's a typer or a talker. Yeah, too much. Yeah, she's, yes.
Yes.
Happy. So I have a private question here. Almost 10 years ago, I had a sexual abusive boyfriend. Ever since, I have had an extreme need to control everything when it comes to sex. And really, it isn't fun anymore. So basically, just don't have it anymore. I don't flirt. I don't have sex. Nothing. What great questions are there to loosen that up? Or which energies can I play with? So that's really cool asking that question, what you're saying. So I'm like very grateful for you willing to ask it, even if it's in private, because yeah, just grateful. Do you want to start, Connor?
I can. It's because what I'm sort of wondering, and I might need a reply for this, is the controlling, is that hers? Or did she take that out of him? The controlling in sex.
Let's see if he types anything. That is a very good question. Because there might be some controlling involved when you do abuse.
Yeah.
That's an awesome question. I really don't know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously so many, when it comes to abuse, there's like a million tools that we can use and access to help unlock a lot of the things that get locked into your body, like the abuse hold and just body processes, and getting to a point that you're willing to, I don't want to say it that way, that it's easier, let's say that, to really sort of kind of like, I want to say like let someone in, but not with going into the wrongness of like not letting people in. It's not that that is a wrongness that you're not letting people in. It's more of a, could just be that if you're controlling in sex, maybe the people that you have been with in sex, you're actually aware of how controlling you need to be with them. And maybe it is about asking other types of people to show up that will be easier for you to be with, people that are actually willing to look at what what is actually possible with you, as opposed to what exactly sex is supposed to look like in how they've done it in the past or how anyone's done it in the past.
And also ask yourself how much have you locked into your body that is awareness. And from an experience of sexual abuse, it's very interesting to see what conclusions we make and how much awareness we cut off from what was going on and what you knew in that moment. I've dealt with quite a few abusive relationships and people being sexually molested or even raped. And there was always a part where there was awareness of something that they neglected, not that they could prevent it or things like that. It's like there's somewhere sometimes so much awareness that they cut off, and then they stop having that in their lives in general. And then there's a lot of weird system in place. Like they don't want sex, they think it's controlling, they stop living, they start abusing themselves. And like there's so many weird ways, and everybody designs it very uniquely, usually against themselves. And then, of course, usually separates from the possibilities that could change their lives. Like some people that totally excluded nature from their life, or animals and got allergic. There is tons of things. And one thing I always talk about with them is like, never give up until you create the change or choose a change that works for you, that changes your life, because it's individually how it changes. I mean, the abuse hold, like I wouldn't ever jump over that part ever, but it depends when you're ready for it. And then there are amazing experience, like what have you locked into your body that it's not yours, that you could release instantaneously? What else would you like to be willing to let go of? And what are you willing to let into your life?
And are you masturbating?
Great, Connor. Let's go there directly. You're funny.
Just saying, if you aren't, it can help. And if you are and you feel great with yourself, that's an amazing place to be. But if you are not masturbating, I would start. And even if you're like, this doesn't feel good, what's it going to take for it to feel better? What would I actually like here?
Oh, but this is a general good question in general. I know so many women that don't like masturbating, for example. And I'm like, why not? So you don't want to explore your body, what it desires, like just touching it. It doesn't have to certainly go to one energy or one part of your body. Like, what are you not willing to be towards your body that you may be being desiring like a lot, and how much do you avoid being then turned on, because your body might tell you a lot of things. I remember Dane clearing some issues with me and control, and then he said to everybody in the room, of course, very nicely, like, if you would let go of control, you would just be afraid that you would like to jump and have sex with every person in front of you. I'm like, yeah, that reads fuck. So I was like, no. I don't want to run around and everybody just notice I want to have sex with it. It says sex in my head and like forehead. I'm like, that's horrible. That would be terrible. That would be like the worst thing ever. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. That stops me from having the totally different reality. Just enjoying everything and having those perverted thoughts in my head all the time. Like, what would happen? So how many perverted thoughts do you have in your head that you're controlling so you never ever enjoy everything in your life? Everything that's life.
And everything that is times of God's in, we're destroying, uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Can you say that one more time?
Yes.
Just pass through the way.
All my perverted points of views, pocket pod my perverted points of views. So everything that doesn't allow you to enjoy your perverted points of views, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good, bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts.
If you're married in a relationship, you're not allowed to walk around and have think about sex and you want to have sex and fuck everybody around you. That's not okay.
Should be.
Everything doesn't allow you to have that as a choice possibility to enjoy. It's just an energy. So everything doesn't allow that. Can we destroy and create that?
Yeah.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds.
One question that keeps on jumping in my head is how many of you are refusing to seduce people into a greater possibility?
So good. That, I think we've got Lisbeth and Celine maybe asking, some people sort of talking about that, and this really might cover your questions as far as, why do I turn myself off when I'm around people that are turned off? They're like, so the question that we're getting in the chat room right now is that some people are saying, well, I'm alive, I feel so alive, and then I get around people that are turned off, and Lisen is basically addressing that with this. With like two.
Oh, you should do it again. How many of you are refusing?
Yeah.
How many of you are refusing to seduce people into greater reality or possibility?
And everything that doesn't allow it, times the God's in, we're destroying and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Can we do that again?
Yes. And my head goes like, seducing, lust, sexualness, turn on, then turn off. Can a turn off be seductive?
Maybe. Not to me.
I don't know. So how many of you are refusing to use people into a greater possibility?
And everything that is times God's in, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Ooh, the bodies are feeling pretty good now.
What does sex and masturbation create? Huh, good question. What does it not create?
Depends on what you do with it. What does sex? Okay, let me read that fully.
Do that.
That's interesting. I did an abuse process last September. Since I had 2 relationships, and the last one, after having been great, happened to be very abusive.
He's reading his mind. You can see the chat room too if you want to follow his mind reading.
Yes.
I love so much having sex and masturbate. Like, awesome. What would it take to have more of that?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I would say if you don't have the fraud patrol, get the fraud patrol process. That might help with that one.
So do you want me to read it?
Yes. Do you have it like available?
Yeah, I have it available. It's very long. I don't remember by heart yet.
I don't know. I can't remember that yet.
I was just at a COP in Asia, 2 of them, so I had to repeat to get it really. I'm just. What have I made so vital, valuable, and real about the fraud patrols of finance, reality, money, linearity, relationships, family, spirituality, sex and sexual freedom, ethnicity, law, cultural separation, humanoid embodiment, humanoid healing, and humanoid humor, and thought, feelings, emotions, and no sex as the perfection of human that keeps you seeking the wrongness of you through them and you and everything they are and everything you are and everything they will not be and everything you will not be.
And everything that is, times again, then we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because, like, somewhere, if you keep choosing men that are abusive, do you even think it's possible that men can't be abusive?
That's an interesting one, yeah.
So everything that brings up or lets down, times again, then we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. I kept choosing like the same women over and over again. And it wasn't until like after the sex and relationship class in Houston that I was finally like, okay, all right. I realized that what I would like to have, I don't think is possible. So it's not something I've even asked for yet. Like, so how about I ask for what I want? And I was like, holy crap. It took about 2 days for it to show up. And it was kind of like, I really didn't think it was going to be that easy. So if you're a lot of times for anyone on the call that is creating sort of the same relationship over and over again, you can pock and pod, like, what invention am I using to create the sex and relationship I am choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And while you're doing that, you can ask yourself, what would I actually, maybe you don't even know what you would like to have. So it's a combination of like, you don't know what you would like to have. And so the only thing you think is even possible is what you continue to keep choosing. And if you can ask that, like, well, is this type of relationship the only one that I think is possible? And maybe I'll add another one in here is like, are you actually really attractive to abusive men? An abusive relationship? Is that what you're attracted to? Which is really cool if that's the case. Don't go into the wrongness of yourself, because then you can start to realize, oh my God, I'm so attracted to that person. And then you get to go, oh good, I know what that is because I'm always attracted to it. Now let me try and choose something different. So as you choose the people that might not even sort of, because what you will tend to do, what a lot of us humanoids tend to do is, for whatever reason, choose someone else based on the intensity of their reality. So talk about turn on or turn off. So is an intensity of someone else's reality a turn on for you, and everything that brings up times a God's language is sure and great at all. Right, wrong, good, maybe I can like let Lisa do it.
Good and bad, right, wrong, put them all my shirts, poison. Yeah, you just stay, you know.
I'm just running along with things because like it will bring up. It's like as you look at it more and more too, it might even show up that you're like. It'll bring up a level of intensity in your body that so everywhere you've bought intensity in your body as a turn on, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good, bad, pod and pock, all nine. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Because I'm like literally like pock and potting myself as I'm talking about it here is like when I might notice a certain woman that I'm like, whoa, oh my God, yes. Like that can be, like I've ever like that can be, it could be a girl that like I don't even see, and I will like sense her energy, and I'm like, oh wow, and I can see it from a distance, and I'll just be like, nope, that's a super intense reality. She's walking around with a ridiculously intense reality, and if you notice that those are the people that you have bought as a turn on, it could be someone else that is like, wow, who might hashtag our upcoming class be nurturing in sex for me. So it can be a very different energy for your body that is just like, oh, wow, that feels really good. And it's not necessarily so intense. And much like, wow, it could be like awareness. When you're really aware of things, it isn't like necessarily shouting at, it's not something shouting at you. It's just a whisper. It's a feather touch. So play with that. I will.
It is very interesting because when I mean a lot of you guys have done Access for a while, and you see every time you look at judgments or what you have learned it should be, and you let it go, totally new things show up, and then we ask questions about that, totally new things again show up, and it's so freaking quick as well when you allow it just to be and show up for you in ways you didn't exactly have to control how it is, but it's very interesting to see. For example, personally, I could see how much I wasn't willing to have men that were caring towards me. I wasn't willing to be caring towards me myself either. So all the judgments I have towards me kind of just...
A really good point too, is to look at what Lisen just said, is she's like, I wasn't willing to choose men that were caring towards me, and I realized I wasn't willing to be caring towards me. So that might be one thing you want to look at, is if you're not choosing men or not choosing a woman or whatever your preference is, or a partner that is not caring for you or is not whatever, you might look at where you're actually not that way for yourself. Mm-hmm. So sorry, keep going. I just
no. I love it because that's basically what I do with dating. Every time I see an energy I'm not 100% willing to be, or that I would like to have more in my life, I start looking at it for myself, and then I ask, hey, what would it take for a man to show up that is willing to contribute in that energy or area or whatever it is? And they show up all the time, and it's amazing how often it blows my mind in different areas. And I'm like, this is amazing. I can use this in all areas. I can use them as tools. Well, and different many tools, sorry, but a very interesting way of using things and having fun with it. And I was reading while you were talking, Connor, in the chat again, a woman writing, I've discovered that I'm a sexual healer since several years, but my body is not okay to go on with it. It is difficult to have sex now without healing. And I'm a bit lost now with having only sex or going on to be sexual healer. And I was like, wow, that's an awesome energy to look at, because yes, how many people have we had sex with to change their world and their reality and heal them and take care of them and blah, 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 blah. And then if you're aware of that and want to change that, what kind of sex are you asking to have? And are you willing to have a totally different reality with sex that you have never, ever experienced? Are you willing to be totally orgasmic? Are you willing to be out of control? Are you willing for it to be nurturing and sexually everything for you that you desire? Or do you have to work while you're having sex? Can you play with it? Are you willing, I don't know, do you know SOP, ESB and all those things? Are you willing to have a energetic and an ESB session while you're having sex and change your whole reality while you're having it and being totally orgasmic all the time? Like, what are the questions you can ask about sex that don't necessarily come to an energy, I have to be a sexual healer? And what if you were willing to have so much fun it doesn't matter what they choose. They can heal themselves too while they're having sex, but you don't have to be the sexual healer or choose people that you have to heal, take care of, and work on. Have a session, get paid, and get laid by somebody else.
I like that. Get paid and get laid. Yeah, that was awesome.
Second part was very important, by somebody else.
By somebody else. It could be the same person, but they get paid very well.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
But the funny part is, oh God, I remember my first Access class. I was in London. It was about money/sex, but nobody told me that in the moment, because I was like, I have to change my money. I don't have money. And I was like borrowing money to get there. I really literally didn't have money. And I was there, and it was a super small, cute little class in London with Dane and Gary, and it was about money. And all the time about sex and prostitution, like all those things. And I was so much judgments in all those areas. So it was triggering me like, and I was like, and Gary did have a lot of fun. And I had a lot of things showing up. And I so do remember all these energies and how much points of views I had. And I did let go of a lot of them when it came to being paid and sex and all those things. And then I'm like, I don't know, it's not many days ago. And I just wandered in the street. Why don't we all get freaking a lot paid when we have sex? I mean, we love money. Like, okay, me, my world, I love money, cash and all that. I love sex. Why do we not put them all always together? I'm like, that's really insane that we put so much judgment on it. So they have to be exclusive. So they're not okay. And they definitely like put them apart. This is bad. Money is bad. Sex, being paid for sex is bad. So let's have a big bad party against it. And I'm like, this is insane. I was like, I do love sex and getting paid at the same time. Oh, well, what would it take?
And there are countries that's legal in, for all the people in the United States that are like, oh,
yes, it's legal in Denmark, Germany, so many countries. Not in Sweden.
New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia.
But nobody has to know. And it's not normal payment. It could be something else. Maybe you paid yourself when you had sex. If you masturbate and you're really happy after you masturbate, why don't you give yourself money? Why don't you pay yourself?
Or ice cream.
Okay, money. I'm a money head. Connor, you go ice cream. I go money.
Oh my God, my body feels so good. I gotta eat ice cream now.
And I just wanted to say, just make sure to put 10% away as well when you pay yourself.
10% of ice cream. I wonder how that looks like.
For me, it's like money. You go ice cream. I go money.
Cheap sex with awesome man. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's going to have even more sex after having ice cream, or ice cream with somebody. That wouldn't be bad either.
And you can even like rub it on your nipple or something. It's delicious. That's the 10%.
Everything that springs up can be destroyed and created.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, park, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Do we still have, is Safia still raising their hand? Is that correct? Do I have that correct there? Does the hand wave like this if it means it's
I think that's an old one.
Okay. Up, it's gone.
No, I took it away.
Oh, you did.
Bossy here.
Bossy.
Are you willing to be bossy in sex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also to note what you were talking about earlier with the sexual healer, and like you're like, oh, it just doesn't feel good. Just as a sexual healer, once you acknowledge you're a sexual healer, just gonna have to let you know the number of people that are gonna be fun to have sex with goes like this. But the cool thing is the sex itself gets way better. Like way better. It's more of a turn on and less of a turn off. And you just, got to ask those questions. Realize that you're aware of what's actually going to be created before you even get into bed with the person. Be like, damn, I knew it. Oh, why did I go there? Because I thought maybe, just maybe, no.
I've asked a lot of guys in Access. It's so fun to ask this question. Like, do you really ask them? Yeah, as long as I get one yes, I'm okay.
Right? Yeah, you're like, I got one, it was good. Then afterwards, you're like, that's like, I've had times where I'll like ask the 5 questions, and then I'll get like and I won't necessarily get a yes on one of the questions. I'll get like a weird energy, and I'm like, well, what's that energy? And then you go there and you're like, oof. Okay, now I know what that energy is like. That was no wonder why it felt weird. That was a weird energy.
Will it be fun?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be great?
I've got an awesome excuse now. I need to get an ice cream.
Hey, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I would want ice cream after the turn off sex. That would be like, oh, this ice cream's not so good.
Well, it's what we learned as kids. When something sometimes isn't so nice, we get an ice cream afterwards to be happier. Huh?
Right? Oh, there's a good one too, I guess. Yeah. Oh, wow. Ugh.
No, it's not really.
I just realized how much of like I'm not so sure I should say it, but I'm going to say it because I like doing that. Because I like being controversial. How much of a turnoff was the sex that your parents had, and you were aware of it in the other room? At least one of your parents was turned off, and the other one wasn't really present, and they were just kind of getting off because they felt like they should do it, and they had to do it because they're married, and they're only doing it really once a year, and then that's what you know as sex, but it's a turnoff. Oh, wow! How much sex in the world is turnoff sex right now? Everything.
That is.
Times a goddamn.
Fuck all on short boys and yawns.
Okay, on the other side of the coin, how much more of a turn on is there available in sex and just walking around? Never. Oh, that felt good, didn't it? Wow.
Oh, how weird it's going to be.
Interesting how it's less intense.
Yeah.
So how much have you bought a turn on as how much have you bought intensity as a turn on that it's not? As the turn on that it isn't. Everything that is. Times a godzillion. Destroying on great, all right, run good, bad, pod pock all night.
You didn't even allow me to pod pock, no?
You just kind of like took a long time. Okay.
We have some things to work on.
Yes. I'm I'm like the guy that's like, oh God, it's wet. It's wet. I got to get in there. I'm like excited. Can we go yet? Instead of just like holding back.
How much did that bring up with everybody on the call?
Everything that is times a godzillion destroyed not great at all.
Good and bad right around putting book all nice shorts, boys and bands. Connor, there's a question. What are the 5 questions you mentioned, Connor?
You know what? I forgot the first 4 because it pretty much goes straight to 1 now.
Oh, you do? Which one do you go to now?
Will it make me money? And will it make them money?
Will it be fun? Will they be grateful? And then there's several, like there's one with will they be happy afterwards, or and if they would will there be a contribution to you or something like that too? So there's different ways of asking. Will it be easy? Will I learn something? Oh, that's one fun too.
Will I learn something? And
will they make money? So much fun to ask.
Oh my God, it's the best. Although it's also the worst because you don't really get a whole lot of yeses. It's also, and a lot for all the people that have judgment coming up, like, I can't believe you're only going to have sex if it makes you money. It's not about that. It's making you money based on the fact that it's your either receive, like will it expand your receiving and will it expand their receiving? And if it expands both of the people involved, their receiving, then it will make you money. It'll make you money and it'll make them money. Maybe not directly. But I guess it could also be maybe he buys you dinner and that made you some money. And
it doesn't mean that person will create it at all. It's an energy that contributes to your life, that expands your life, and then it can show up everywhere. Like it's in the foundation manual. When you go to that class, you basically can ask that question. If you buy milk or you go and buy like clothes, it's awesome. If women would really ask that question, you would just walk around with the energy that creating a different reality. so amazing. I love that question.
Yeah. And will it be grateful for the men and for the women, but really important for all the men on the call? Will it be grateful is your most important? Will they be grateful is your most important question? Because will it be easy? Sometimes you're like, I don't care. I'll work for it. I like that. And then you're like, will it be fun? It's always fun. And, will you learn something? Of course, you might not learn something that you really cared to learn. And so like, will they be grateful is one I've learned is very important, because interestingly enough, they're actually, sorry for the ladies on the call, there are actually some women out there that will try to, you'll ask the question with, as far as like, they'll try to have sex with you, and it sounds fun, it sounds easy, it sounds all of the above things, but what they're really actually trying to create is a situation where they can be ungrateful for you, just so that they can prove to them what they knew you were in the first place, or what they thought they knew you were in the first place. Because
they want to prove their point of view against you and use it against you.
Yes, correct. So even though it may seem like they want to have fun and they're willing to be grateful and all these things, when you ask the question, it will be loud and clear. Like, I've been blown away in that, like, I'm talking to someone and I'm like, will she, I'm like, wow, she can be really fun. Da, 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 da. And it was like, and then I'm like, will she be grateful? And I'm like, whoa. And it's like, my body's just like, no way. And I cannot tell you how amazing it is to have people that are grateful and that are grateful for you. And when they're just grateful, and people, and you just are like, thank you. You're like,
and sometimes it's like, I remember one guy, and the thing is, like, he could not deal with the change in energy that was there in sex. And he definitely had the energy of going into a relationship. And then it just blew his mind too much. And that was energy. Okay, fuck. Oh, got that question. The boobs are rising. Okay.
Yeah. So that, okay, cool. Can I ask a question about, I think it's more to Connor, about that kind of women? Because I noticed that sometimes that I second to being that energy, or I'm not sure what's going on there. So could somebody ask me some questions about that?
Are you saying like with women that are talking to you?
No, like the man talking to me, or in my relationship, that's not really a relationship. Kind of.
Right. And he's not going to be grateful for you.
No, the other way, like,
are you talking
like me
yourself?
being the woman that's trying, what did you say? Proving to be wrong, that kind of energy.
Proving that, so you're saying, like, how do you look out for yourself when you're trying to prove that you're not grateful for him?
No, when I'm being the woman that's making the man wrong. When I'm being the bitch.
Generally speaking, if you're worried about that, you're not doing it.
Well,
are you sure? Have you done it before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
This is freaking honest, and this is like freaking amazing, because we all know it, and we all know being it, not being it. So it's definitely a choice in the energy. So I'm like, this woman, oh my God, she's willing to look at that shit. I'm like,
I want to say it.
Cool.
Connor, help her. She needs a man now. Help her.
Help her with what? So I'm sorry, I don't understand the problem. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's their fault for having sex with you.
But if you want to build something constructive,
so okay, here I'll ask a couple of questions here.
Yeah, thank you. Connor is asking.
You're a bitch.
I don't.
No.
So what is the value of making the man wrong?
Ooh.
Not being vulnerable.
Cool. So everything's allowed to change all those energies. Can we just try and create that?
Right, we're on good and bad pun part. Short spoilers and beyond.
What expectations do you have after sex from him?
And everything that brings up
Warning. So what expectations do you have towards a man that are not yours, but you're learned to have them because you're supposed to have them as a woman? You're supposed to project them. If they don't deliver, they are wrong.
Oh, wow. This is awesome. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine, George, boys and beyonds.
Yeah, and it's as if a step missed or something. Okay, cool. Stupid. Yeah.
Say that again. What?
It's as if it's like a step. Like there's something in between that and the other question.
Cool. So what is that you're aware of? So have you learned that men have to be wrong, or that you have to prove you're right and they're wrong?
First one's more like.
So what are you aware of?
Does he desire to be proved to be wrong? I mean, and maybe that's not always the case. Or there are times.
No, I think there will be very different.
Every time it's going to be very different.
I'm
Yeah.
creating, I think. And
What?
It's more something I'm creating. And
Are you willing to be a slut?
Can I be a slut and have kids and an awesome husband?
No, you can't. Of course you can't.
No, I cannot do that.
So everything that is times the guys didn't restore and create it all. Right and wrong, good, bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Slut.
Slut.
Oh, it's very interesting. I mean, I remember Gary saying, I think it was Gary in a class, like when a man marries a woman, she cannot ever be the energy of a slut again because he does not want to have that as the mother of the kids. So how much of that are we rejecting, kicking away, like being reactive to, that we're like being a slut is really fucking just enjoying everything. Like every energy. And if you want to have sex 5 times a day, have freaking sex 5 times a day. Why are you even marrying a person? Like, what's the purpose of that? Like, what is the energies around those things? And what if you were willing to exactly embrace, be the energy that your body enjoys the most? How much lust are you avoiding because you have a pretense how you should be as a woman, as a becoming to be mother of some kids in the future?
And everything that brought up times a godzillion, destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, I love Rachel O'Brien. Fantastic.
You know that word, exactly that spelling, means stop in Swedish?
Really?
No, end it. No, we won't. I unmute you, Safia, if you want to join the conversation.
Yeah, I had some awareness because I was listening to Simone and Heather Nichols did a call, and the other day, I think a few days ago, and I have a question, but what she said was that when we're doing business, sometimes we become male and sometimes we become female. It's different energy. Mm-hmm. So is that because of what we were just talking about with Yas and things? I'm just very aware that I do that. How could I change that? Yeah, because I think I found I've read the Femme Fatale, the Gentleman's Club. I've got more charge with. I mean, so much. I have to really take little bits because whatever it does, there's just so much charge with it. So I'm very aware that I'm more masculine in my way of being if I was in a relationship. And I know there's no wrongness in that, but what could I...
Okay, if I would ask, what do you mean being a more man energy? What does that mean to you?
To me, it's like, I know you said about control, it's like I'm the one that's in... I know Gary goes on about, we're women and we're in charge and we do things, but it's like I'm the one that, will wine and dine the bloke and, pay for things and that because I feel more comfortable in that. I'll play the male role, if that makes sense, instead of being the female. Maybe I'm not ready to receive. I don't know. Yeah.
No, but here's the thing, there's nothing wrong being that if you enjoy it. Like, then you will ask for that. The thing is, if you think you should be acting more like a woman or do that part, then you're going to confuse you and what you really enjoy, instead of, oh, I like being the wine dine person and paying and all those things. So then you have to ask for the man to show up that is more female and receiving that, like basically a mangina. And then everything fits really nicely together again. But if you then ask for a guy that is man, you kind of like, we can't have two men doing the same thing. It's going to be very interesting. So if you just ask, like the awareness that is just beautiful.
Okay.
It's just the question if you're willing to live your reality or you're going to compare to somebody else.
I think for me, it's come down to, I was talking to some, when I was doing a bars class the other day, and this is where it's come up actually, because I've been annoyed with myself with this. I was wondering why now I was annoyed all day yesterday and today, and my daughter was like, oh, what's wrong with you? And I'm aware, it's the fact that it's a cultural thing that I was brought up with, that you, and I am much better about receiving, but it's like, it's a cultural thing that we, even though I'm not a Muslim, and you know, the religious, it's like you've got to just, everything you receive is got to be paid up or you go to hell. So there's that element, and then there's the element obviously that it's, which I've been working on very hard, well, not working towards, is that, you know, I know we talked about being a slut, but it's like, and I was reading this, is where sex is involved. It's like, okay, you know, if I'm in control, then I don't have to set expectations of sex with me. That's a bit messed up in my head.
How much are you willing to confuse yourself at the moment?
I know this is when I'm annoyed with myself at the minute with this. I'm just like,
So how much do you love confusing other people too?
I do that so that they don't feel attractive towards me, and yeah, I know, I'm aware I do that.
So are you willing to allow people to be attracted to you?
Yeah.
Are you willing to allow people to be totally turned on just because you show up?
That's what yeah. Okay, yeah, or yes.
Yes or no, darling?
Yes.
I get that.
Yes, no, in my head. I'm like, why am I doing that?
Everything doesn't allow that. Can we just try and uncreate that and return that to sender?
Yes, please.
That right, Ron Puck online shorts, boys. Yeah. What would you like your reality to look like? What would you like your reality to be? It's really good to be clear about that a little bit too and ask about it, because your yes, no will make you totally confused, weird, insane, basically, instead of enjoying all the energies. And like most people, I can say, they were willing to cut off their energy, not being turned on, so they don't have to deal with the energies or the things that show up. Because if you, like, I don't know how many women have this point of view, me included, like years ago. If I turn somebody on, flirt, invite them, make them feel that I want something, then I have to deliver.
Yes, that is it. This is what I
delivered an energy. I've already done my job.
So everything that is times of Godzilla, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. How fun is teasing? Somebody just like that, yeah. Everything that is times of Godzilla and destroy and uncreate it all.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds.
Well, yeah. I did do that today because I had to get all my tires put on my car, and obviously I don't get paid till tomorrow, so I know I had this amount of money, so I did play with that, and I've been because I know I was going to this call, and I've been sitting here thinking about it. I'm thinking, why am I feel crap about this? Do you know what I mean? It's no wrongness in it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's like, you know,
there's no wrongness at all. So would you allow that to let go of that it's even considered? It could be a wrongness.
Yes.
Are you willing to also let go of your judgments?
Yeah.
Everything doesn't love you. Can we destroy and uncreate that?
Yes, please.
Right and wrong and mad fun fuck all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Okay.
It's interesting if you look at the energy of teasing and how many points of views there are with that. And if you tease and you start flirting, what do you have to do and what do you not have to do? And is there anything you have to do with that?
I yeah. No, I don't. But I think it's just that fear, which is, I know, is a lie. It's just at the moment. I'm just going.
How does it intensify it? Please bring it up even more. Don't control it. Everything doesn't allow you to let go and freaking just turn it on. Can we just turn and create that?
Yes.
Good and bad,
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Okay. Shifting something in.
Turn it on. Turn it up. More.
So, yeah. And for everyone else out there as well, how much, when someone says, oh my God, you led me on, how much are they trying to control you?
Oh, God. Ooh.
And for the people that would actually be fun for you to go to bed with, have sex with, do relationship with, whatever, how much more fun would it be if those same people were just happy that you were flirting with them and teasing with them? Would those people be more fun than as far as like, I look at it, it's a great way to see, wow, that person would not be fun. If someone goes, I can't believe you did this, you're like, well, geez, you're not going to be fun.
Thanks for the warning. I'm not going to go there.
Exactly.
But you have to, like, here's the thing, if you're not willing to be controlled, everything will control you.
And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah, that's the bit you've got it there, listen, and kind of, it's that the bit I'm pissed off because I'm aware of that, and it's pissing me off even more, and I've pissed myself off with it, and really had a rant, and being not a nice person to my daughter, which I have apologized to.
Good. Just tell her that your mom's not getting laid enough.
Yeah, she's gonna listen to this. I know, because she does access. So that's gonna, yes. She.
I hope you like that.
She finds it hilarious as it is, because the more acts I've been doing, I've been looking younger, and people think we're sisters or we're friends. So the guys that are the same age as her are hitting on me. So
So women, are you willing to turn on women? Men, are you willing to turn on men?
Yeah, I've been playing with that a bit.
Okay.
And then
I've been playing with it.
I know.
You're like, I'm not going to do it with it. I'll just play with it a little bit.
I love in the chat. I went to a Catholic school, and if the nuns were bitches, we used to say they weren't getting laid enough. Yeah. That's so true. But it is interesting if your buddy would like to have sex and you're not willing to go there, you're not willing to masturbate, you're not willing to do anything to create that energy, and you suppress it. I mean, it's not. I don't think why we even wonder why we create some reactions or become bitches. Like, we're being a bitch and controlling freak against ourselves, something that would be enjoyable. So what would happen if you let that go and you would allow your body to be turned on and enjoy it? However, if you can with somebody else, if not with yourself. Like, what if we only, like, sometimes we're all like, oh, I didn't find anybody. Well, you have yourself freaking in front of you all the time.
And how much are you teasing you when you're not willing to tease others?
Oh my God. Okay. When I listen back to this is going to be like, whoa. Yeah. Okay.
Rachel, I'm just reading what you're saying. I'm sorry. If you don't read the chat, this is too funny. Sorry. Off topic.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, listen. Thank you, Connor.
Here's the thing. For example, I was flying Lufthansa from Tokyo home, and let's say Germans, they have a tendency of cutting off energies and being turned off really well. They that
you didn't just say Germans.
Next week is the German call. There, I don't know what you're doing on this call.
Oops. Pocket pod.
But the fun part is when you're turned on and alive and you kind of flirt with them a little bit, all the women too, they're kind of like, the energy soften up in 2 seconds. And it's very interesting because they're very rude and they create really interesting situations where people are not so fun with them either. And I just look at them, no, I want my wine served a bit different. So then I start saying something or doing it in a different way or apologizing or being kinder or like giving them some compliment. And in that moment, it shifts and the door is totally open. So every moment you can create a different reality with anybody, even German. That's not going to not be that bad. You guys are awesome. I have a lot of fun in Germany. So I think that's why I can have a joke here. And I do love you guys. And we're doing the class in Germany, the sex and relationship class. So, I mean, there is a choice there why we're choosing it, because we're gonna have a lot of fun there. Just by
so fun it should be illegal.
Almost is, but it's not. But it's interesting because like even if a body is turned off in front of you or a situation is shut down or it doesn't feel like it's possible, there is always a possibility if you're willing to flirt and create that energy into your world and your reality shows. It's almost like, again, being the invitation, seducing people into a different reality. And if you have that question in your mind, in your like all the time, you'll see what's required in that moment. And it's amazing what shows afterwards if you're willing to do that, because they kind of cannot resist it because there's just a different energy. And it's not about seducing somebody into bed. That's one possibility. But it's just seducing people in a different reality possibility. And it's really cool to have that. And it's fun and your body loves it. Or at least my body loves doing it. Because then it's just possibility. Even if they're not happy, it's still an joyfulness in my body. And that's freaking weird. In the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I'm so happy. Okay, well, you guys can all walk around and not be happy. Cool. What else is possible? So how much are you avoiding being you in that energy while everybody is around you not being it? And are you willing to seduce them into that? Are you willing to be that dominant? Are you willing to be that demanding of your world, your reality to change around you or change people? Or you don't have to. You just can enjoy even people being shut off, like they're turned off. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. That really helped loads and loads of, millions of,
Awesome.
I have a question in the chat. So yeah, I started saying the class in Germany. So we have one class called,
which one are you going for first?
Nurturing sex and orgasmic relationships. So in the one in Saarbrücken. Here's the thing, challenge for me. The class is in English and it's being translated as we have an access. So people have headsets on into German. So I'm, for the first time, going to have a class in Germany talking English. So everybody's basically invited due to my suggesting that I invited Connor. And I was like, in Germany with Germans and English? This is going to be interesting. So I had to work on myself, changing my language into English there instead of having it in German. So the class is in English. So all our classes in English. We have one in Denmark too. That's going to be fun. Forbidden Desires. I think Denmark can take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say one little like secret. We have a Zoom event next week too. It's in German, but it's not because we're still going to talk English. So basically, everybody's invited to that one too. We're basically doing it for the German people because I want them to get to know Connor. So it's being translated, but everything is in English if you join Zoom. So it's like, oops. So if you want to have even more fun, you can continue next week. And then the fun part was that Connor had a telecall series, Letting Go of Control, where he invited me to join. So I'm like, this is fun. We're going to play with a lot of things. So that starts on Monday.
Yes.
That was the commercial part. Monday, Wednesday, Denmark in September.
It was really, really interesting how much the control conversation came up on this call.
Oh my God.
Very blown away. Oh, how much control is there in the bedroom? Sorry, I get excited about these things.
I
get all
turned
on.
Controlling women. I like that.
Mm-hmm. With teasing, though, it's always fun.
What call is that?
Teasing women into something different, Connor?
Yes. And men.
That is true.
Gay men are really fun to tease into things. They're better at teasing me into things sometimes. Damn.
Ice cream, Connor.
They're like, oh my God, you're so hot. And I'm like, really? You think so? Look at that. Yeah. Adore me more. Yes.
Yes.
You like this? I'll do whatever you want, I think.
But the fun part there's nothing you cannot enjoy. That's the thing. Like when you let go of those points of views, anybody that flirts with you is just an enjoyable energy.
Mm-hmm.
You then have sex with them, that's definitely a choice too, but it's like so amazing, and they can definitely tease you into something. It's really fun to see gay guys really being awesome at that, and when a man is allowing that to be there, like the feminine side and all those things, or whatever side it is, I don't really mind, but it's really fun to see. So they're pretty good. They're sneaky. Oh my God, do you guys have any more questions? What would it take before we end this beautiful call? I don't even know what time it is. Oh, there's a phone. Oh, 10:22. Awesome. Let's see. Anything else? No. Oh, there must be a last juicy question for us. That would be awesome. Oh, can you tell some more about control when you're not willing to be controlled or out of control?
You cannot control others if you are not willing to be controlled. That's pretty much the gist of it. So you can start looking at wherever you are not willing to be controlled and what different aspects, like Sophia said, where she's not willing to control others with teasing, she might not also be willing to be controlled by teasing. So you can look at those different things. For me, the longest time I would not. I'm getting better. I'm not sure I'm great at it, but I would not let women control me. So at the same time, I wasn't really willing to control women, or so I would say. So while all the while actually being controlled by women and also controlling women, combination of this weird, fun turmoil.
But here's the thing, like you will see when things show up, if you're willing to like explore the energy of being controlled or controlling, usually we control to limit something or to stop it or to make sure we feel comfortable or that we think we can predict the future. And if you look at control from a different aspect, you will see when it shows up and you're like, oh, wow, this is also limiting me. Or it's like you see somebody saying something to you, you're like, whoa, I feel controlled, or whatever it is. When you're willing to explore it, you'll see how it is designed, formed by you. And then you can start parking, letting it go, asking questions about that, maybe inviting people that contribute to you to changing that.
Yeah.
Have a different ability.
And what I love, I'll get to what Anna said after Bettina, I love it. She says, if my husband tries to control my choices, I tell him you can't control me. That is the perfect explanation of not being willing to be controlled and not being willing to control. So Bettina has a couple choices here. She could be willing to act like she's being controlled by her husband while also actually being the one that's actually in control. So that's one of my favorite things is with the control type things is where you're not willing to ask a question that if you could would give you control. And everything that doesn't allow that.
Get it better at Rumper. Oh my God.
Do you have more tools and questions there?
With the control?
Yeah. About the last thing you just said.
Everywhere where could you like if you're not willing to be controlled, so let's just say what Bettina said, if my husband tries to control my choices, I tell him you can't control me. So she's not willing to be controlled and she's also not willing to control. So what question could she ask there that would actually give her control and quite possibly make it look like to him that he's controlling her? And it doesn't have to be a question that you ask out loud, like, what question can I ask you? It can be like, as he's doing this, like, what else is possible here? Like my favorite question Gary has for people is, are you the more conscious one in the relationship? Now watch out when you're in a relationship with somebody that's in access, because then you're like, I'm the more conscious one. Yes. Shit, I lost that battle. That conscious battle.
You do know that we have the form structure clearing that you can really, really use in this area. And I love it because there's one about sex as well that I wanted to read that I just like, oh, that's an awesome version of it. I'll just read it. What would happen if we were out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, and significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricity with sex, with the sex my body desires of me for all eternity?
Ooh.
Everything that is. Sounds like it's like you're just trying to create that.
Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
It's with the sex my body desires.
Ooh.
And you can take that away. You can also just do the whole clearing with out of control, because it just starts unlocking things in your body where you have made that real, or it's supposed to be, or whatever it is. And it's really good. I mean, if you're a control freak and you don't run that gazillion of times, like, bummer. There's different possibility. It doesn't mean that you can't use control or control becomes invaluable. You just use it to create something different and not to limit you or somebody else. So it just becomes very different.
And someone's asking, further people had questions about an intense reality. So going back to where you will be aware of how intense someone else's reality is. Intense is camping, intense, ha, 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 ha. So that was really good delivery. An intense reality.
What? I think I missed the whole freaking point then.
Yeah, it was terrible. So like someone that has an intense reality, really the easiest way for me to say something about that is to start noticing and acknowledging the energies that you're aware of. Like, is if you have this like extreme attraction to someone, is it this really intense reality, or is it something that's going to be nurturing to your body? Most likely it's not really nurturing. So really, as a lot of the things that sort of come up that are actually like sex and a person and all these things that are going to be nurturing to your body, if you have been, I should say, to one of the 3-day body classes, get a sense of how your body feels at the end of that class, or how your body feels after getting your bars run, or how your body feels after getting a body process run. These types of things, that's the energy that is actually going to not be in it. That's like the not intense reality. It's really this, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be, where we've sort of bought into these intense realities as these things that we should be attracted to. And it can also be where it's the person's point of view that you're aware of, where one of my favorite things I heard Gary say one time was, is that guy making himself seem really attractive, like he was saying this to a woman, because he's actually a really big asshole. And the only way he can actually attract people to him is if he has that level of intensity in his reality and that attraction. So if you notice, oh my God, he's so hot, and then you're like, wow, he's such an asshole, it's because you're really aware of the energy that he has got to create in order to actually attract people to him. Because if he didn't create that, everybody would just see asshole. Done. Moving on. He's like, shit, oh wait, I discovered that if I make it really intense that I'm attractive, then people will actually come towards me.
So one of you to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Like the level of intensity, it's really, it can be like, I guess I should look at like, just like this call, what's a turn on or a turn off? And a turn on is that, I'm going to make this a question, is that really, is the turn on for your body really that sense that you have after you've had your bars run, or when you get a body process run, or after you've had an access class, those kinds of intensities that actually have an ease, those kind of energies that have an ease to them, and an intensity of space, as opposed to this intensity of contraction and intensity of judgment. So really, to help there is probably what I was speaking more towards earlier, is like the intensity of judgment that you're aware of in people's realities, whether it be positive judgment, negative judgment, just, and it be the judgments of the people, of what the people have of themselves, and what judgments everyone else around them has of that person. Ugh.
Everything that brought up or down or whatever, can we destroy and create that?
Times a godzillion, right, wrong, but good, bad, podpoc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
But it gets heavy. You can change it any moment, and you can have a different reality, and you can allow heaviness to be there without affecting your body or your energy or your turn on, turn off, whatever you're choosing. So that's also willingness to see if you're willing to go there and have your reality, not something else. And it will be freaking a different reality, as most people aren't willing to. Sweden neutral. Hey, we're in the neutral country. Yay. Very many turned on bodies. No, they're willing to be quite easily, but they're very neutral. So, hey, what reality would you like to have? Wherever you're living. Like, tell me where there's an orgasmic country. We'll all move there, I guess. Awesome. We just create one. So I wonder how much fun we can have.
So, and I like Hannah's last question is how to get more turned on instead of turn off. Start asking what's going to work in this situation.
And what would it take to be more turned on? Would energy, space, and consciousness can me, my body be to be turned on to all eternity, every day now? Or like ask the universe to show you what's possible too.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up.
Exactly. Play with it. Play with it a lot and let us know how it goes. Show up somewhere, chat with us, have fun.
Yes, and when it comes to your genitals, play with them. Oops.
Get any better than that?
That's all I could think about. Lisen's like, play with it, play with it, play with it. I'm like, what are you going to play with?
He's being a man, and that's awesome, right?
Yes, we are
sexual never perverts. Think about that ever. When women unlock their energies about sex, oh my God, they're intense. So wonder why we all control it, huh? Yes.
Very good point.
Yeah, I know. Crazy woman. I didn't come to the whole area about sex and business and all that. We'll definitely address that in a different call. And yes, ask for it. It will show up in a very interesting way, and you can have so much fun with it. Business is so freaking turned on for me. It has always been. I've never understood it until I've understood it because I asked a question about it. And yes, you can do a lot with your business. But we're not going to do that today. It went somewhere else. I didn't have time to bring it up. So yes.
Thank you all so much.
This is awesome.
So much fun. Such a turn on. Whew.
So thank you everybody for tonight. Join us next week if you want with a German call. Just don't tell them.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll see you in one of the classes or wherever you want around the world, because we're going to be doing classes in quite a lot of places. Have a beautiful night, day, morning, wherever you are.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Love everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Chicka, chicka, chicka. Let's manipulate them a bit more, Connor.
Yes. Like this? Like this? Like that?
10%.
Finally, we waited 1.5 hours for that, Connor.
I know. Next time it might be without a t-shirt.
or wet look on your thigh.